Ladies and gentlemen, this deck is absolutely obscene. Dagger got buffed and Phoenix Force just became a whole lot more consistent. Dagger is now 0 power, but when she moves to a location, she gets +3 power for each enemy card there. That means if you move Dagger just once to an enemy location with 4 cards, she's playing for 12 points, which is obscene for a 2-cost card. Previously, she was 2 power and buffing herself by 2 for every enemy card. So she would be buffing herself by 8 points and playing for 10 points for 2 at a full location. So that's 2 points more on just a single move. Now, of course, if you could move her multiple times, that's even better. So Dagger's playing for the same amount of points as she previously was if a location has 2 enemy cards, because she's going to be playing for 6 points total. Previously, she would have started at 2, buffed herself by 4, and played for 6. So you're getting less points on Dagger, of course, if you don't move her at all. If you move her to a location with just 1 card, you get 1 point less on Dagger. And then if you're moving a location of 2 cards, it's the same. And then, of course, 3 cards, you're getting 1 point more. And then if it's 4 cards, you're getting 2 points more. And of course, with a Phoenix Force deck, the opportunity to move Dagger multiple times is very high. The other thing to bear in mind with Dagger, with Carnage and Deathlok in particular, if you're destroying her on turn number 3 with Carnage or Deathlok, you're not losing out on anything anyway, because those cards are still playing for the same amount of points. But if you were to play Venom on your Dagger, you are potentially missing out on a couple of points. So that's the one thing that's worse. Dagger on 2 into Venom on 3 did in theory become slightly worse. But then, of course, if you resurrect Dagger later with Phoenix Force, you can more than make those points up with a couple of moves on turn 5 and turn 6. So the idea with Dagger, if you do destroy her, is you're most likely going to be wanting to play Zola onto Dagger. You, of course, got the Human Torch line as well, which you can do Zola with Human Torch, or then ideally multiple man and just move all the multiple men, because that got buffed a couple seasons ago. It's a very consistent deck. It's really powerful. Dagger is particularly fun to play with. I think you guys are really going to enjoy these games because there were some absolute juicers. If you enjoy this style of video where I record stuff off stream and it's a little bit more tailored for YouTube, let me know. Okay, so an important thing to note is on turn 1, I'm not going to play the Iron Fist. We want to save this until later on. There's some times where the Iron Fist can just play for an insane amount of points with the right setup. So we do find Dagger. We will play the Dagger down here. We're not going to snap at this moment in time because we don't have the Phoenix Force access yet. So now we can go for the Carnage. And this is a really good example of why we held on to this just a little bit longer, because now we can play the Iron Fist, which is going to be, when we play our Phoenix Force, instantly moving Dagger and our Phoenix Force for some extra stats. So we're going to snap at this moment in time. Valley of the Hand is, of course, rather intimidating against a Destroy player, but we've got to go for it. You've just got to believe in yourself sometimes. So also the potential of Zola onto a big Dagger is quite an interesting one, and that's going to be meaning we want to leave the left lane probably quite empty. Kingpin, hopefully this doesn't impact my cards. No, it doesn't, thank goodness. So we find the Phoenix Force. Also really nice to see that Ghost Spider is going to be an option for us next turn. So I'm trying a new style of video where I'm recording stuff off stream. If you enjoy this style, let me know. I was just going to stream, but I figured, actually, you know what? Let's try something different. Here comes the Dagger. The Iron Fist moves her. And again, the fact we held on to this Iron Fist turn 1 and didn't just move our Carnage, really, really huge impact. Dagger buffs herself by 12. Are you dizzy? That is insane. Wow. Now, little bit of an awkward one, if we're honest. What we surely want to do is move Dagger elsewhere. I suppose it's more likely they play into Valley of the Hand, and then we want to be Ghost Spidering her back into the mixer, right? So we'll just play the Deathlok for stats. The Shuri's not doing much. We're going to be Zolaing the Dagger, I'm fairly certain, on the last turn. So Ghost Spider, Iron Fist, either side of Phoenix Force. It's like a Phoenix Force is the filling, Iron Fist and Ghost Spider the bread sandwich, either side of her. This Dagger's already at 17 points. This was without Shuri, without Forge. Pretty insane. And here she comes again. 23-point Dagger. Hello. Oh my goodness, this card is insane. Another 12 points. That's a 35-point Dagger, ladies and gentlemen. Venom comes through. If we really beat a Valley of the Hand, Destroy Gamer, you know the deck's popping off. They find the destroy. Oh, they find the demon off Nico. Okay. Well, here goes nothing. The Dagger, most likely not going to be getting buffed again. Although, actually, it's possible that she does, right? Because they're going to want to commit some stats off to the left here. But it's quite possible just X23, for example, could get them there. Wolverine got turned into a demon and then they destroyed it with Killmonger. A little bit of a calamity on their part. But that is a 35-point Dagger off Phoenix Force. I suppose this was the ultimate curve, really. Dagger on 2, then the Carnage Iron Fist on 3, Phoenix Force on 4, the Ghost Spider on 5. They retreat. We were, of course, going to have 2 more 35-point daggers. Dagger popped off. And imagine we weren't playing Dagger in the deck here. We never found Human Torch. We never found Multiple Man. The deck would have really fallen to pieces. Okay, we would have had a Nimrod backup plan for sure. But this is just adding consistency to an inconsistent deck. And I think this is why this is going to be the ultimate move list for this season. Turn 2 is the turn we want to be playing down one of our movement cards to be destroying. And there's the Dagger off the top. This is the difference maker. Having this one extra card. And I'm feeling so happy about it, I'm going to snap it. Carnage is the dream top deck here because this allows us to go Carnage and Iron Fist on turn 3 into Phoenix Force on turn 4, which is the ultimate curve, really. We want to consider leaving the right lane open for our Zola a bit later on as well. Okay, cloning Vats is also interesting. I wonder if that ever changes our game plan with a Shuri, for example. Do we want to mix things up? I think we still just take the Deathlok and then we could go Phoenix Force into cloning Vats, perhaps. Interesting. So, the Phoenix Force is too good not to go for still, let's be honest. It's just too good not to go for. Magic! Oh, hello. We love a bit of magic action. More turns for our Phoenix Force to pop off. But of course, what we need to consider is if they have randomly some kind of Legion or something which is going to end the game early. Most likely they don't. We have the opportunity of going Shuri here as well. That's the problem with Shuri off. It's a weird one. I think what we actually want to do is Shuri here. We're probably more likely to want to Zola our Dagger rather than Zolaing anything like else, I would guess. So we're actually just going to Shuri the Nimrod because we've got like an extra turn. There's not really... Oh god, okay. Not really that much else for us to do. The Leech is a problem. But I think Dagger should be able to carry us through nonetheless. I doubt we're going to get Legioned here, but perhaps could have played it slightly differently to be a bit better against a Legion. But no, I don't think that's really something we need to worry about too much. Ghost Spider's going to be the better top deck because I can go multiple man Ghost Spider. They don't play anything. Dagger's still going to be buffing herself up a little bit. So, I mean, the players basically just dump everything, right? Except the Human Torch. I think we just move Dagger down the middle, to be fair. It's possible they try and Shang-Chi us. I haven't played against this deck too much, but Shang-Chi is a possibility. I would imagine they predict I'm going to move the Dagger here because it's going to get me extra points, but I think it's unnecessary. I think we just go down the middle because I'm ahead by so much here already. Put as many stats as we can here, and then we'll just put the Carnage off to the left. So we're not even trying to win the far right location. Dagger, a one-man army. No Shang-Chi down the middle, please. I wouldn't even beat us, so it's not a problem if they have it. The She-Hulk to the left doesn't quite get them there. We could have... Oh! The Misty Knight buffs them, but we win the tiebreaker. Oh my goodness, that was close. Holy moly, Batman. Woo! That was intense, but we get there just about. We would have been pretty unlucky if we lost that one. Fun game. Right, Human Torch in hand this time. We've not really had any Human Torch games yet. Throne Room's also pretty exciting. Could be a Nimrod game. So we do need to consider if we actually want to go for the Carnage just yet. We find the Dagger. Pretty interesting decision on what to do here. I might just put the Dagger down to the left as well, as it's just giving me more points on the Carnage overall, and then it's just going to be a toss-up over which is revived. We still haven't seen the Phoenix Force. We also haven't seen the Shuri. So I'm going to go for the Carnage. I'm also going to go for the Ghost Spider because it's just giving me more consistency, right? Because of Attilan, it's increasing the odds of us finding Phoenix Force. It's a little bit of a risky snap, but I'm going to go for it. They look like a deck which wants to have lots of cards in hand with Sentinel and Agent 13. And that hand is going to be shrinking from 6 cards, where it's at now, to 3. There's also very good odds that I find Phoenix Force. There's 50% chance that I find it. In fact, slightly over 50%. Okay, let's hope Cable didn't steal my Phoenix Force. Also, the Ghost Spider, very good stats into Lake Hellas as well. So a bit of a no-brainer there to go for that line. No sign of Phoenix Force. However, we do find the Nimrod. Let's go for the Shuri off to the left, because then Venom can win the left. Feeling pretty good. Again, this is what the Shuri and Nimrod offer you, rather than something like Forge and Nico, which plays further into the Phoenix Force package. The Shuri and Nimrod just give us a lot of different outs. Now, interesting, we do find Phoenix Force. The question is do we want to go for it at this point? It's going to be either Human Torch or Dagger. We will get one move from it. We could, of course, also Iron Fist, but then Iron Fist is going to eat the Shuri buff. Now, it's a pretty interesting decision. I think I'm actually just going to go for the Nimrod. I think Nimrod is just a little bit safer here. Because we can also go for the Phoenix Force on 6. On 6 still, right? We could still go Iron Fist Phoenix Force. Just leave the Nimrod where it is. Might catch them off guard, perhaps. We hit the Deathlok, so we're going to go for this line for sure. The Venom comes through. Of course, they could add quite a lot of extra stats down the middle with something like a Moon Girl here. And perhaps we overcommitted to the left, so perhaps... Yeah, this is fine. I'm pretty happy with this. Perhaps we could have gone Venom to the right, is my point. But we are very happy indeed with that. And it's another big cube victory. This deck is not only winning consistently, it's winning big cubes. This could be a top tier deck, I think. Artage, Shuri, definitely something catching my eye. We can go Dagger turn 2, Venom turn 3, Shuri turn 4, Phoenix Force turn 5, perhaps. I'd rather a multiple man, though, if we're going for... Or Human Torch than Dagger if we're going for a Shuri Phoenix Force line. So the other interesting thing we could consider is we could consider going for the monster, Venom. Because that gives us... with Shuri, a huge card, which we could maybe then try and Zola. We don't have Zola access yet, so let's just put Dagger off to the right for now, because then we've still got the flexibility of decision. Wolverine gets buffed by Forge. We get a second Ghost Spider, which is pretty interesting. Oh, we don't bloody draw a card. I'm not too happy about that. So the question now really is... Are we going for the monster or the Dagger? I think we probably just go for the Dagger still, truth be told. Really interesting decision. With Ghost Spider, it's fine to go for this one. Deathlok comes through. Not exactly the greatest of plays from our opponent. Definitely an awkward spot we're in, but it's probably decent problems to have. The concern about playing the Venom here is if we find Nimrod, right? We would have loved to have had this Venom for later. But this is just a little bit more safe. So we do find the Nimrod, in fact. I'll take the Shuri. Truth be told, we can probably just take the Nimrod and they would run anyway. Iron Fist gets milled from us. There's the Deathlok, which is what we're still hoping for. So it's only Carnage left for the Nimrod line, really. So I think Phoenix Force is probably going to be the safer bet here. And the concern, though, right, is that... Do you know what? I think it's Nimrod still, because there's also Zola, which we could play. I'm not going to snap. Multiple man off the top is the worst nightmare for us here. So the decision point now is, do we Zola the Venom? But I'm pretty sure it's just here with Kamartage. So we'll take the snap. We kind of stumbled our way into it, but you can just see the consistency the Shuri and the Nimrod give this deck. It does make a big, big difference. So we're looking to win the right and the middle. And surely we've done exactly that. It's a null. That's a big null. Are you serious? No. Not the null. Oh, it's heartbreaking, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we could have seen it coming. So that also asks the pretty interesting question. Was Zola to the right actually winning? Well, if we Zola the right onto the Venom eats the Nimrod, which was a 24-pointer. So we'd be ahead to the left. Yeah. And then we would have started Nimrod. So interestingly, Zola onto the Venom was actually a game-winning line. Definitely looks like more of a Nimrod game with the fact that we've not drawn any of our early cards. So we could play the Human Torch. I think I'm going to hold on to it for now. With the logic being that I might find a Iron Fist or something. They're going for some Sunspot Soak gameplay. Yeah, well, I think it's fine to just take the Human Torch at this point. I'm going to put the Iron Fist into the negative zone with the logic that I can Carnage or Deathlock it later and perhaps catch them off guard with more points than they anticipate. I think we'll also take the Shuri down the middle for the same reason. Shouldn't have actually played the one created by Time Theater. It gives them a little bit more information than we needed to give them. Not great value on the Cyclops, but I suppose they're probably gonna float it. We'll take the Nimrod. We're definitely not gonna snap because we're still missing Carnage Deathlock. 2 out of 5 chance that we hit them, which is a 40% chance. We'll take the okay. I mean that's just mean, isn't it? That is just mean. Okay, we've got the Human Torch. We've got the multiple man. Good start. Nimrod as well. No sign of Phoenix Force as of yet, however. I'm up against Thanos, which I imagine is still very powerful despite Blob getting nerfed. I think we'll do a similar thing where we'll just play the multiple man here off to the left. We don't really mind which one is going to be getting resurrected if we do find the Phoenix Force. So they get a Nimrod in hand. We get Scar. Scar is really good on this board, actually, with Nidavellir. Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward one, to be honest. I think I'm going to skip the turn. If we do hit exactly Phoenix Force, of course, we wish we did go for a Destroy play here. But we don't. And I think it's pretty reasonable to just take the Dagger at this point. Iron Fist Dagger for some decent value now. The other thing to consider is if we actually want to play off to the left. I'm just a bit worried about the Nimrod situation, right? But Scar is also tempting. Two out of 5 odds that we find Venom. We're always going for Iron Fist Dagger. The question is, what's the positioning like? I think it's like this. Nice extra dagger value with the fact they played down the middle. Oh, the Soul Stone knocks her down, which would have given us scar value. Oh, it's 10, okay. Oh, hello. Suddenly scar's nice and cheap. Zola, an interesting proposition as well. Nimrod down the middle means scar costs 2. So we could go like Deathlok, scar. Weird one. No Venom, unfortunately, of course. Don't really like the look of Scar Zola. I'm just going to take the Nimrod and hopefully we find the Venom. That's what we're going for with this play. Which we do. Now the question is, would we rather Scar? Probably, right? Having said that, is the Venom even good enough here? It's not great, is it? But it's putting a lot of stats into the other locations. Yeah, I'm not really interested in the Carnage or the Deathlok, so we're going to Scar. The question is where, and I suppose here. I also know they have a Scar, but it's costing them 2. Jeff can move. Perhaps it's going to move down to the middle. Not super confident, but we'll stick in this one. It's only for an extra cube. Jeff doesn't move, which I'm surprised by. There's Scar. I think we're pretty happy with where Scar's gone. This looks like a win. It looks like it looks like we might even be winning all 3 lanes. The Nimrod ties the left. And the Scar secures the bag for 2 cubes. Happy days. Alright. I think also we were winning with something like Deathlok here. Carnage was winning as well, because we would have won the left and the middle. Wait, eking closer to 100. Alright, first game. We've got the Phoenix Force, which is the money card. Now that we've got Dagger in here as well, it's very likely we are going to find everything we need. So the first question is, do we play Forge on turn 1? And I think we will go for it. Of course, at this moment in time, we don't have anything to actually buff. But and one thing we're also not going to want to do is play Carnage onto Forge. It's just not something we're particularly interested in doing, because then that means that the Forge could be resurrected by Phoenix Force. So we don't want to do that until quite a bit later on, perhaps on turn 5 or 6, for example, we could consider it. So unfortunately, we still miss the Multiple Man and the Human Torch, but the fact we've also now got Dagger in the mix here as well as a really good option is just improving the likelihood that we are still going to find stuff within a decent time frame. Admittedly, we were hoping to have had one of these movement cards by turn 2, so we've got a little bit unlucky. We do now find the Dagger, and the beautiful thing about this is we've also, with Elysium, opened up our ability to play Dagger and Carnage this turn. So we're going to easily snap here. This is definitely a snap for us. We'll play into the Nebula lane, and already we're seeing the Dagger being a strict buff here with the Carnage, with Deathlok as well, because we're getting the same amount of points on this Carnage as we otherwise would. That 2 points that Dagger lost from her body aren't important. And with Magic Phoenix Force as well, this Dagger is going to be going to the absolute moon in our very first game. And if we didn't have this Dagger, remember, in the deck, we wouldn't have actually drawn a movement card, and our Phoenix Force would have been really lackluster. So already just having that extra movement card in the... Oh my goodness, really? 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 Okay. Well, that's not ideal, is it? Let's be honest. That is not ideal. So, what's the plan? Well, the plan is... I was going to say it's going to be to Zola, the Dagger, but that's not a very good plan. The plan is we're losing the middle, and we need to somehow win 2 other locations. The Phoenix Force isn't going to be difficult to win. We'll delay the Ghost Spider. Oh, really? Okay, guys. Okay. Okay. I think we lost this one. Okay, let's have a gander. So we put the Nimrod in the deck. Let's try him without Nimrod. Instead of Shuri and Nimrod for a bit, I was playing Forge as well as the Nico, but definitely liking the look of having the Nimrod in here just for a little bit of extra consistency. We're going to take the snap here. When we've got Phoenix Force access so early, it is, of course, a shame that the multiple man is going to be a 10-point multiple man. I mean, it's not bad, but Phoenix Force getting the buffs is also good, but we're just going to be able to fill the board here. So, of course, if our opponent does have the Hela, we could absolutely be still losing here. But we're going to take the risk nonetheless. We could also go for a big Venom, perhaps. And, oh, Shuri's pretty interesting. Shuri's definitely worth it. So, Shuri also has synergy, of course, with multiple man Phoenix Force 2. Often it's just going to be coming down a little bit later. Also has synergy with Human Torch on Phoenix Force. Not so much with Dagger, admittedly. But the Shuri is definitely a nice option to have here as well. And I think the key thing really of including the Shuri and the Nimrod is just to give you that consistency, and it just makes the deck feel better. Otherwise, there's so many games you just end up retreating because you miss a combo piece early, like you don't find the movement card early enough to Phoenix Force it, or perhaps you do find the movement card nice and early, but then you just don't have the Phoenix Force later on. So we've got a 14. Is that a 14-point multiple man? 17. That's not bad, is it? 17-point multiple man. So, of course, we want to do some movement shenanigans here. We don't really want to Venom, do we? Because this multiple man these days can still move. So what we'd rather do is Venom off to the left, I suppose. The Carnage we're just going to hold on to for now, as it's just going to be negative points, which is a nice winning spot to be in. But of course, Hela could still beat us, make no mistake. And we could have created a bigger Venom, but it felt more within our interests to keep both multiple men doing their thing, really. Now, let's think this through. So we move this multiple man, remove this multiple man. There's just going to be one multiple man in the middle, so we can just go Zola, go Spider Carnage, like that. Let's see, do they have the Hela? Can we beat the power of Hela? Iron Man down on the board already. I mean, you know the deck's impressive if we pull this victory off, that's for sure. So the Zola comes down on the 17-point multiple man. Let's see the Hela, my friend. The concern is we really don't have many points to the middle, and we've put most of our points where their Iron Man is. So, yeah, we could have done with having like extra stats off to the right, I would imagine. Tribunals here. Onslaught. There's the Hela. Onslaught doesn't land in Iron Man. Does land with Tribunal, however. Is there anything more coming down? It's a Giganto. It's a victory. I think if the Onslaught or the Tribunal went to the right. No, if the Onslaught goes to the right. I'm not sure. Maths is hard, but that's a really satisfying win. Shuri, instant impact in the deck. Happy days. Okay, Nimrod in hand. The Iceman. Pretty good for them. Pretty bad for us. Now, what we could definitely look at doing, of course, is multiple man in Artmaze, but also Nimrod in Artmaze is pretty interesting. Considering this Iceman slowed us down so much and we still don't have any sign of Shuri or Phoenix Force. We do find the Phoenix Force. It's a little bit late in the day, but with all the movement locations, I'm going to go for it still. So this Iceman was MVP, so we're not going to snap back. Storm comes through as well just before multiple man is able to get his buff. I still don't think we're in a terrible spot. We could also go for Shuri this turn if we find her, and then just play the Nimrod. Leech ain't bad. So Deathlok, is just more points. I suppose we don't want the rock on the board because it could just end up clogging us in a way that we're not interested in. They don't have an abundance of points. That's the pretty good news for us. Phoenix Force off to the left is also pretty solid. I think we can snap this, ladies and gents, to be completely frank. The Leech is pretty interesting. I suppose the Daredevil's making me a little bit anxious, so let's just stay in this one. It's a Hobgoblin. Not really something I'm too scared of. Particularly if it goes off to the right, we can easily Carnage it. And even if it doesn't, we could... I was going to say we could try and... We could do... I mean, we could do... we can't do... words are hard. So it does go down the middle, unfortunately for us. That's a little bit of a bummer, but a multiple man moving in there is enough for us to take it, so that's not really a big deal. We could perhaps Zola the left, and then just move multiple man to the right. I'm surprised they go for the snap. We don't really have an abundance of good plays here, do we, really? Let's snap back. Let's play for 8, ladies and gents. Why not? I'm feeling pretty confident. The middle's secured. We have a bunch of points to the left. We're putting points to both locations. The Leech is here as well. It is going to be a victory. Although the Spider-Woman does impact the multiple man in a big way, does that ever change things? Not quite. It almost did. We get there by a single point. This pesky, cheeky, flipping Spider-Woman almost did the business for them. We do get there by a point. And that is 8 cubes, ladies and gents. The beauty of the Phoenix Force, the Zola. Very difficult to be predicting where you're going. Our opponent didn't have many points, but they got wrecked nonetheless. 8 cubes. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Let's get to infinite. Alright, we're off the back of 3 losses in a row. Mostly just for a cube or 2. TVA is very interesting. Very, very interesting. The problem with Dagger so early is she's probably just not doing too much, but I'm liking the look of Dagger later, so I'm going to start off with a Human Torch. I'm going to actually snap. Controversial, risky snap, but we've got a decent curve. We avoided Murder World, which is always nice. Yeah, let's just take the multiple man. I'm going to take the multiple man again off to the right. Usually here, I would have gone Iron Fist onto multiple man, but with Murder World, it makes things very awkward. 1 extra energy this turn. Shuri? I mean... yeah, sure. We'll take the Shuri, I guess. And I think I'm actually going to take the Shuri down the middle. And then we're going to Iron Fist and Dagger the middle. We might also find the Ghost Spider for the Dream. Oh, that improves our odds. We can Phoenix Force Shuri as well now. I don't think we'll go for that. No Ghost Spider. Weird one. Very, very weird one. I think I might just ignore the Shuri. We could also just ignore the Dagger, right? We could go Deathlok, Iron Fist, but I'm pretty sure with the fact we played Shuri down the middle, like, there shouldn't really be any need for us to commit. They're never actually going to play anything middle. So I'm leaning more towards, I guess this is fine. I kind of feel a bit uneasy about this one, actually. I don't like the spot we're in, particularly. I really don't like the spot we're in. We could do this. Is it really winning? Not so sure that it is. I don't like it. Yeah, it's a loss. Wow. Oh, yeah. That's really frustrating. Didn't like the idea of playing anything mid. Dagger, just Iron Fist Dagger was just winning. Iron Fist Dagger was just winning. I got a little bit too ropey and misplayed here. Really good hand. I'm going to snap on turn 1 here. It's a Bifrost game. We've got the Dagger. We've got a way of destroying it. Okay, we'd rather have Carnage or Deathlok on the Dagger, ideally, but who cares? Now, we could also go for the multiple man instead. This is like now an interesting decision point. We've got the Dagger or the multiple man, both as options. I think I'm going to go for the multiple man over Dagger in this instance because it's just a little bit safer, right? With Bifrost, we're going to be able to fill the board. Dagger is going to be better if we have Zola, but we don't have guaranteed access to Zola. So as excited as I was for the Dagger, I think multiple man is going to be a little bit better for us here. Yeah, Carnage also would have been great here because then we can do like the Carnage plus Iron Fist combo. But we are going to be able to Ghost Spider the Phoenix Force on turn 5. Does look like my opponent's a move gamer that is probably a bot, if we're honest. I guess we'll take the Phoenix Force down the middle just to try and apply some Hela pressure. The Vulture's a lot of points for them, but it's not quite as much as I'm getting here. Dagger would have popped off, by the way, too. Let's not forget. And we can still Iron Fist the Dagger later on as well for just huge stats. My poor opponent is... I was about to say my poor... Well, I did say my poor opponent, and I had to swiftly shut my mouth. Oops. Let's go for the Ghost Spider. Let's go for the Iron Fist Dagger as well. Am I really about to lose to a bot, ladies and gentlemen? The Craven gets buffed off my multiple man as well. Perhaps we should have Ghost Spidered the Dagger. It's possible. I think an 8-point multiple man, which I can move again this turn, is more than reasonable, though. Dagger comes through. She is chilling at, what, 10 points? 9 points. So the previous Dagger, if we do a comparison on this Dagger compared to the previous Dagger, she would have been 2 points to start off with, and then she would have buffed herself by 6. So it's 1 point more on this Dagger. If 3 cards or more, it's 1 point extra. If there's 2 cards, she's the same. So obviously the Zola is by far the most tempting play here. The problem is I'm not really doing that much with it, but it's really our only option. Alright, this is a bit of a mind bender, so let's move the multiple man first. I think we actually Zola like this. Because Zola elsewhere isn't actually giving us more value, right? We just flip these over like this. So my understanding is the Zola is going to trigger first and then the multiple man can still move back. But I could be wrong on that. If the Zola comes through, hits Ghost Spider. Oh, it moved Dagger! Are you serious? What? Oh my days. That was filthy. Hello! Wasn't expecting that. The multiple men still have to do their movement stuff. Bang. Craven buffs. Bang. Heimdall. Oh god. This game was ridiculous from start to finish. It might have been a bloody bot for all I know, but who cares? It was pure entertainment value. Dagger at 18 points. This card's so good. Really, really, really good card. We're against Ned Flanders. We have the Phoenix Force, we have the Nimrod. Give me the Dagger or something. It's multiple man. Do we play multiple man into Sinister? Probably not, I would wager. I don't really think it offers much for us to do so, right? Yeah, I don't think we want to do that. I think... Yeah, Yeah, I don't think we want to do that. Shuri is also very interesting, by the way. This game, Shuri Nimrod. Could just be a better approach. So maybe we do want a multiple man here. Like, maybe what I'm saying is maybe we don't actually want to go Phoenix Force on a Sinister London game. It's not as impressive having lots of multiple men, because they're also going to be able to fill the board. So what we probably want to do instead is try and set up for a big Venom, perhaps. Which hopefully, hopefully they didn't steal our Venom just now. That would be a little bit heartbreaking. Oh my god. Rocks galore. Now I'm wondering if I should have just gone for the Deathlok. I'm going for the Shuri line still. I'm going for the Shuri line. Shuri, Nimrod, Deathlok. Hopefully we find the Venom too. They took our Carnage, which is definitely not bad, but at least it's not Venom. I'm going to snap. They haven't got that many points. My points also aren't that impressive, but they know I'm a destroy move deck, I guess. They should have that intel of the fact that I've played multiple man. Okay, let's hope they get a rock and not Venom. Let's hope they got a rock and not Venom. Shuri comes through. Uh-oh. We've drawn 2 of our rocks. If they've really got our Carnage and our Venom, we've got a little bit unlucky. There's another one of our cards here. It's a Human Torch. Okay, good intel. Here's the Nimrodius. Oh, hello, sunshine. Hello, sunshine. So, I should actually play the Deathlok first. I believe. Wait, I know what I do. I Venom, but then I Deathlok the left. Or not. I think this is fine, right? I think this is fine. Easy. Victory. Strange Academy is always good to see. We've got the multiple man. We've got the Phoenix Force. We could go for a very aggressive snap here with this board state. Let's be fair. Let's go for it. Now, multiple man. We could, of course, just put down here. Let's go for that. Just because we don't know what the third location is. I think it makes sense to just play the multiple man here. Then we can Deathlok. I mean, actually, Venom is more points, right? Venom is more points overall. Now, the other thing to consider with the Nexus showing up is if we ever want to change the game plan. And I don't think so. I don't think we want to change too much. It looks like we might be just against the bot, to be fair, anyway. Phoenix Force down. No sign of Iron Fist or Ghost Spider as of yet. No, 9-point multiple man. That's 8-point multiple man. I thought it would be 9. Phoenix Force only 5 power. It's been a while, I guess, since I played with this deck. So let's go for the multiple man move. I suppose we'll also put the Nimrod down in the center here. Potentially we can then Deathlok, Carnage, Zola perhaps even. Devil Dino comes through. It's a lot of points in the Nexus. We need to get moving ourselves by getting more in that. Definitely not the turn 5 play we were looking for. Something like a Ghost Spider would have been huge. And both multiple men ending up in the Nexus as well means it's pretty difficult for us to add more points into the Nexus. You have one to the left. So this multiple man moves over here. These two go over here, and I suppose we just Zola one of the multiple men. Yep. The Nimrod is just less points than the multiple men, right? It's another 8 cuber, ladies and gents. It's a 17-point dino. That's a lot of points. The great news for us is we're putting points all over the place in the other location. So they decide to play nothing to make sure the dino's as big as possible. But I'm pretty sure we're just, even if we lose the right location, we're going to be winning the other two. And yeah, it's a very easy win because we actually take it as well. The Zola comes through. Points all over the gaff. We're just cleaning up these 8-cube victories right now. Deck is really, really popping off. Feeling very, very consistent. A little bit of a shame to be missing out on Forge, but not really an issue at all. We're also under Shang-Chi range without Forge.